Welcome to Monday Club! I'm Peter.
I'm Gus.
What's Monday Club?
Monday Club is the only show out there where you get a second chance at your weekend.
Screw Saturdays, party on a Monday. Monday is the new Saturday.
Monday, Monday, Monday. Welcome to Monday Club. I'm Gus Davis. Along with me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. Peter Blah. We have an amazing show for you guys today. We have a special guest today. Mr. Rob, the Balloon Man Balchunas, is joining us live in his studio. We are doing a Cheers of the Week to a really big Rubik's Cube nerd. We are also going to be talking about our new segment. We've got our new segment this week in the news. Of course, we've got our teachable moments, and it's going to be a wild ride. Stick around. Enjoy Monday Club.
Merry Monday!
Yeah! Cheers!
Cheers! Welcome to Monday!
Oh my God! Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. We're going to start this off right. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Well, you made it. You made it past Sunday. It is now Monday. Let's keep partying.
Cheers! This is the beginning of my weekend.
It's pretty great, man. Listen, we have a huge show for you today. I'm really excited. But before we get into it, we have to do our Cheers of the Week. And who found this one? Was this you?
That was you.
Was it?
Yes.
All right.
You found it, even though it's not on Reddit. It's on a Daily Motion.
It's funny because it was actually all over Reddit. Now that's where I found it as well. But listen, here's what we have for you this week. We have a super Rubik's Cube nerd. Now, I gotta ask, gentlemen, have you ever tried to solve a Rubik's Cube?
Yes.
I have, yes. I lasted about 10 minutes.
Have you successfully solved a Rubik's Cube?
No.
No.
When I was in college, I thought that all the super smart kids could solve Rubik's Cubes, and so what I did was I went out and I got online and I printed out it's like a mathematical formula for how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and it's like, all right, so you just get these one colors in the corners, and once you do that, do this like 7-page twist, and you'll end up solving the Rubik's Cube. And so I did it once, but by following the cheat sheets, and then I was like, man, I'm a poser. Like I'm such a poser by sitting out here and following instructions, so I never did it. But, you know, I think the Rubik's Cube is one of those puzzles that everyone looks at and is like, well, if you can solve a Rubik's Cube, you must be a genius.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to solve it, learn how to solve it, because I wanted people to think I was a genius. But I never got around to memorizing that mathematical method.
Man, and I'll tell you what, dude, I've seen lots of videos that are online right now of people who, like, these kids that can solve a Rubik's Cube in, like, 5 seconds. And I don't even know, like, I couldn't get my hands around a Rubik's Cube in, like, 5 seconds. But they're, like, doing all of the twists and stuff
in one
that
hand
to solve it.
Right? They spin and twist
some
and
of them,
spin
yeah.
and twist and, jeez.
Yeah.
There's some insane videos.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy who juggles 3 of them while solving them.
What? I haven't seen that. That should be our Cheers of the Week, goddammit. What? He juggles 3, solves all 3. Wow.
Is that
impressive.
a real thing?
That's a real thing. You can look it up.
Well, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. We may change Cheers of the Week in midstream. Actually, it's funny that you say that because I was at a conference not too long ago, and I met a guy who was super into Rubik's Cubes. Like, he was so into Rubik's Cubes that it was really awkward because he would sit down at our table where we're all just trying to have normal conversations and laugh and talk and stuff like that to decompress from a long day at a trade show. And this guy would pull out his Rubik's Cubes. He had all different size Rubik's Cubes from, you know, the standard whatever it is to like an 8-8 Rubik's Cube and a Rubik's Cube that's not a cube. It's like a quad or whatever it was. Anyway, like, and then talk to us about all these different ways that he likes to solve Rubik's Cubes. He's like, I like to solve them so they make zigzags, or I like to solve them so that they make pluses and stuff like that. And
What
it's
a
like,
fucking show off.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, God, Jesus Christ, I bet you're hot with the ladies. All right, anyway, so...
I found the video,
why-
by the way. I
Oh
just
my
posted
God.
it. I will include the link in the show notes. This guy is juggling 3 Rubik's Cubes and solving them, and it's freaking crazy. It's a 6-minute video on YouTube, but that's incredible.
That is incredible. Well, kudos to that guy. That turned it from being nerdy to actually being cool. So here's what we've got for you today. Today we found a guy who is solving a Rubik's Cube, and he's combining his nerd, because it's not only is he solving the Rubik's Cube, but he happens to be a super big Star Wars fan, and so he set the Rubik's Cube, he got the Rubik's Cube broken down into such a mix-mash way that when he solves it, he can solve it to the Imperial March of Star Wars. Okay?
Oh,
so
hell
take a
yes.
listen.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's fucking awesome.
Isn't it? Like, kudos to you, person. Like, bravo for not only being such a nerd that you're such a fan of Star Wars, but being such a nerd that you can solve a Rubik's Cube exactly in time to the Imperial March. So, ladies and gentlemen, raise
your
your
glass.
glasses high. To you, super
Cheers!
nerd. Cheers.
You super nerd.
Now, being in the magic world, we know enough nerdy people who do this and who use it in their magic. And
True.
My roommate being one of them, and I have another friend who was over, and they kind of knew most of the algorithms to solve it, but not like 100%. And it's funny because Garrett Thomas is actually at the Magic Castle this week, so I'm like, you should bring your Rubik's Cubes, like, mostly solved, and be like, hey, can you, like, help us finish?
Is he known to do Rubik's Cubes really fast?
Yeah, he's one of the better Rubik's Cube magicians out there.
Oh,
But
that's cool.
Part of his act is solving it insanely fast in a magical way. I won't give it away, but yeah.
Nice.
There's
That's
some really cool stuff out there.
It is truly fascinating how much that little, I mean, because it sort of started off as just like a normal puzzle or a toy, but how much that's like gotten into like pop culture, man. Like I see people
Pop
carry
culture.
around
It was
Rubik's
made in like
Cube.
the 70s, right?
Yeah,
And it stayed relevant. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And not only has it stayed relevant, but I think it's just gotten more and more like prevalent. Like I said, people are solving it, but not solving it to get all the faces the same color, but solving it so that they can make cool patterns. And like you were saying, Rob, doing like magic effects. I know a friend of the show, Johnny Zavant. He does a mentalism. Rubik's Cube effect. There's lots of gimmicked Rubik's Cubes out there. There's lots of real Rubik's Cubes out there. There's Rubik's Cube clubs and stuff like that. Like that's actually kind of impressive, Rubik's Cube.
Well done, Mr. Rubik. We appreciate that.
Yeah, good job. I hope you get a nickel for every
Cheers to
time
you,
we say
Rubik.
Rubik's Cube. You're just making me drink more.
Well, I want to hear about your drink, but I probably have the boring drink of the day. My kitchen is still being worked on, so I just went with a beer. But it's a delicious beer. Sam Adams Winter Lager. Very good.
Winter lagers are amazing. Yeah, Sam Adams is also amazing. How do you like it?
I love it. It's great. It's
Yeah?
what I drink. It's like my go-to beer in my fridge all winter.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's great. That's cool.
I like their White Christmas.
Oh, that's fantastic too. I had that this season with it has a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg in it. It's tasty.
with Sally Syphilis and cinnamon syrup.
Sally Syphil sips cinnamon simple syrup.
Rob, what are you drinking, man?
I am drinking a strawberry lemonade that I made myself from a lemon that came from a tree outside our house.
What?
We have a new house.
What?
Yeah.
Congratulations,
So-
but you have a lemon tree in your backyard?
Front yard. And yes, in California, fruit trees are all over the place, and having one at your disposal is amazing. So I made strawberry lemonade and put some Smirnoff in that.
Nice.
That is awesome. That's awesome, man. You guys are all out classy to me. Like every time I'm like Pete does like garnishes and stuff like that. Rob's like, oh, this is the most organic drink that I could possibly get. I hand selected the lemon to come out and be in my drink. For me, I was gonna. I have been on the road and just got back and haven't slept that much in the last 3 days, and so I have a Red Bull that was left over from my travels. Like, oh hell yeah, I'll do a Red Bull and vodka. And I got to my bar and there was no more vodka, which sort of is a cry for help on my part. So instead, I mixed a good. What is this? A pint glass. I put about half of it with Jack Daniels and the other half with Red Bull, and we'll call this a Ferdinand the Bull, I think, because yeah. And it's great. It's actually really good. I thought it would be terrible. It smelled terrible when I was pouring it, but it tastes like cotton candy. So I'll add that in the show notes as well.
Lovely. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to Monday Club. We love you all out there. Make sure you tell a friend or two about Monday Club. We want to grow it into a big club, and that means we'll be around a lot longer. So tell a friend, rate us on iTunes, give us a little love up there. We're on Spotify and YouTube. Check us out there, and there's some videos of us up there on YouTube as well. So make sure you're sharing your favorite episodes out there, and you can also comment on Facebook or email us at mondayclubpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any suggestions or just want to chat.
Yeah, you can also, Pete's been working on a YouTube channel and been putting some hard work into that. If you want to see some highlights of the show, please check out YouTube. That's a quick and easy fix. If you're just dying for a 15 to 20 minute fix of Monday Club, that's the way you do it. Dude, so before we move on, I think it's important that we introduce our special guest of the show. So
everyone thinks
Rob,
we have a mystery third person maybe at this
That's
point.
right,
They're
that's
like,
right.
who is that weird voice I don't recognize?
Pete and I are just off mic doing different voices, trying to add people. No, we have a very special guest. He is a multi-award winning artist. You've probably seen him or seen some of his work, at least, on television and film. He's been on KC Undercover, American Horror Story, Steve Harvey, and Conan O'Brien Can't Stop.
All very different things.
All very, very different things. I've seen him perform stand-up, prop comedy, balloon twisting, and magic. And also, he's one hell of a good guy. Please give it up for Mr. Rob, the Balloon Man, Balchunas!
Hey, welcome to the show, Rob.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, man. We really appreciate you having you on. And you forgot to mention Super Monday Clubber.
Yeah. Rob has received more free drinks from me than I think any other Monday Clubber out there. But
and he's also purchased drinks.
He's also bought more free drinks than any other Monday Clubber out there. So it's pretty much evened out. So we certainly appreciate you, man. So tell us all this different stuff you do, because I think of you as a Renaissance man. Like I said, I've seen you do prop comedy. I've seen you do stand-up. I've seen you definitely do balloons. I've seen you. Don't you juggle?
I do.
Don't you ride unicycles and stuff like that?
I've collected a lot of really weird skills that will impress few people.
And what's that like? Like how did you end up going into that? Like I know my story
Except
of how
Rubik's
I ended up
Cube
doing
solving.
like balloon animals and juggling and stuff like that, which is a really weird story. And I just assume everyone who does like unicycling or fire eating or any of that kind of stuff, like that they have. It's got to be. It's not like your normal deal. Like, how'd you get into that?
So my parents took me to the Ringling Brothers Circus when I was a child, since I can remember. And from there, I was fascinated by the clowns in the show. And there was actually a Ringling Brothers store in our local mall, which apparently was a very short-lived concept. But from there...
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
What did they sell? Just memorabilia from the
Please
show?
Please tell me they sold lions. That would be awesome.
Elephant
wish.
tusks.
They had books and kits on everything, like how to twist balloons, how to do magic, how to juggle, everything like that. So I got like the Qualitex balloon kit. There were things on like there were VHSs. We actually rented a VHS player because we bought a VHS.
Oh man,
How to Be a Clown because weren't that prevalent back then.
right.
So I just kind of started amassing these skills, and balloons were the thing that fascinated me the most.
So were you self-taught on all that stuff, like on juggling and unicycle riding and stuff like that?
Pretty much. Like juggling, it was all just watching videos and trying to practice and figure it out. Unicycling, I had a little instruction on from another former Ringling Clown who was close to the theme park that I was working at, and so I went over to his place and he showed me some of the basics, and there was a unicycle at Six Flags, and I kind of practiced there.
He's like, I kind of stole, borrowed it.
Yeah, no, that still lives there as far as I know.
I rented it. I gave it back. I rented it.
That's the official story.
Yeah, Pete, you did some balloon twisting too, right?
Yeah, I basically got into balloon twisting because I did birthday party magic shows, and the whole deal with birthday party magic shows, I don't know if it's the same around the country, but you do like a 45-minute show, and then you do 15 minutes and do balloons for all the kids
As an
at the end of the
upsell?
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not even, it's like a value sell. It's because parents, for some reason, want a full hour of something, and so you
You get
can't
this,
give them less
and
than
you
an
get
hour.
this, and
Right,
you get
yeah.
this.
right.
Yeah, it's like you get all this and my soul for a couple $100.
And your kid floats.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
And
So
your kid floats,
that's-
and you get a picture of your kid floating. It's great. They get to touch a dove. It's awesome.
And the bunny
That's
makes
my-
balloon animals.
that's
takes
my
a picture with
experience
you.
with balloons. Is I did like the creatures I made were a dog. I did a cat that looks like a dog. I did a lion that looks like a dog. I did a giraffe that looks like a dog. I did. Anyways, that was my line to all the kids.
That's pretty good. That's
Get the
pretty
goddamn
good.
dog.
How old were you, Pete?
Oh, I did that into my 20s.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. What about
Yeah.
you? What about you, Rob? How old were you when you started doing all this crazy stuff?
So I made my first dog when I was 4.
What?
Whoa, you beat me.
Yeah. And
So your parents took you to the Ringling, the circus when you were like 3 or 4, and then you immediately started doing balloon animals.
essentially, there's a video of me when I was, I think, 5, twisting balloons, like really tiny, because at that point I was also very afraid of balloons, so I'd only blow them up a little bit and make really tiny things.
That is
Everybody
so cute.
came to see Rob's face while he tied balloons.
Oh my god!
It's gonna pop.
Dude, that's awesome. If I was an agent, I wish I knew like a bunch of like young kids like you that were talented in balloons, but were like 5 or 6 years old. It's like I'll give them some cotton candy and make a crap ton of money.
Yeah, I started doing birthdays and got like $3 for my first party. It was awesome.
Oh man, that is
That's a lot
great.
for a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Nice. That's cool, man. So
first couple were
you
free.
basically started doing balloons right off the get go and started doing shows with them. And you just loved it, didn't want to stop, kind of like the magic bug. And
Yeah, pretty much the same story that we all have, really, is you
Yeah.
found it when you were a kid and just kept going with it.
You know, so I don't know if I've ever really said my story on how I got into balloons, but I was doing I played basketball in middle school, and I got hurt. I was going up for a layup or something like that, and somebody clipped my legs, and I fell down, and I landed on my back on the court, and it displaced a vertebra in my spinal cord. And I was like laid flat for like a month. It was awful. It was truly terrible. And but because I was laid flat and couldn't move, I practiced. I'd already started doing magic stuff, but I decided I would get a balloon kit, and I got the I think it was the Klutz Book of Balloon Animals. and I still have the original book, and it came with this little hand pump. It was like a one bulb hand pump with a little nozzle thing. And you could just, you squeeze it about 150 times and you can inflate a 260 balloon. And so I would just lay there, and that was sort of my zoning zen moment, was to just, I couldn't move anyway and learn balloon animals. And when I got out of, I was able to walk again, I used that as an upsell, or I started getting into working like the Austin Zoo and some other places. And it was awesome because as a middle schooler, you can just go out and make some pretty good cash doing balloon animals, especially as a kid. And was that your experience, Rob? As in, like, hey, I'm sitting in middle school and in high school, and instead of flipping burgers, I'm making bank doing this art form.
Yeah, I didn't really explore the business side too much. I through whatever word of mouth, I booked parties through my mom, who was my agent at the time.
Yeah.
And so I would be working birthday parties and added a bunch of cash to the bank. So that was fun.
Dude, that's great. Yeah, dude, no stress on that one, man. Pete, I don't know if I ever told you this. My mom was my lovely assistant through my high school years.
I think you did in one story.
Yeah, it started off where
what a good mom.
Yeah, she was so good. Like, I look back on, I wouldn't do that crap for Bryce right now. Bryce could be like, "Hey man, can you be my lightsaber number 2 guy?" To be like, no.
Dude, I never take the back seat in lightsabers.
That's right. You're my
I am the
Padawan.
fencing expert.
No, my mom was awesome, and she certainly did some of the same thing, Rob. She helped me book some shows, and is still, like, to this day, my number one cheerleader. She'll tell everybody about all the stuff that I do, so that's cool.
Now, some people listening think balloon animals, just the crap that I make, a dog and a sword and a giraffe.
That all look like a dog, right?
Yeah, that all look like a dog. But there was this guy in the Boston area, Royal. I think he passed away recently.
Yeah.
And I remember I worked events with him a bunch of times, and he just made some incredible balloon creations. Did you know him?
Yes, Royal was actually a really good friend and mentor to me. I went to Emerson College in Boston, and throughout my whole college time, I was working for him and his wife, who still has a balloon business and still puts on the balloon convention that I met Gus at. But he was one of the early on greats that revolutionized what we do today.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And also just the stuff he made was the millions of balloons it would take to make these characters and creatures and Harley Davidsons and stuff. Is that do you do some of those big kind of multi-balloon creations?
Yeah, I do. A lot of my stuff is usually 5 or so balloons. I do large sculptures, which are life-size people, things like that. Then,
cool.
One of the shows I was on, the Unpoppables on TLC, was centered around making big things for events, and so we'd make a life-size fire truck or an 18-foot Eiffel Tower.
Life-size fire truck.
Yep.
Now, listen. Look.
That's 100 feet long.
Yeah, it's huge.
How many balloons did that take?
A lot.
Yeah, look, Pete,
What?
look, Rob, I'm gonna put Rob on hold, so Rob, pretend like you can't hear this, okay?
All right.
Here's the thing. When that TLC show Unpoppables came out, here's all the backstory that I know about that, okay? What I know is there's 3 unmute. Rob, was there 3 Unpoppables? The stars of the show? Yeah, okay, all right, now you're back on mute. They got all of the attention because they were the crazy ones that were fun in front of the camera. Rob did all of the goddamn work for that show. Like everything that you saw on that show that didn't suck was Rob. So yeah, that's the real deal Holyfield. We're gonna put a link to all of the cool stuff that Rob does. But yeah, man, I have seen Rob recently won top entertainer, top decorator, and top twister at all of the big conventions, balloon conventions that are internationally recognized. And so yeah, dude, Rob's like the legit real deal, and
Nice.
deserves the credit for all of the stuff he did for Unpoppables. Unmute Rob. Hey Rob, we've just been talking about stuff.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
That's awesome. So okay,
I
so
won top
that
twister and
sounds like
top decorator and a few other things, which you
that's
might have
awesome,
heard of.
man. Congrats.
Yeah.
What? So I was gonna ask, what is the biggest balloon creation you've ever made? So would that be the fire truck?
We did a giant castle on the show, and that was
Oh
about
wow.
20-ish feet tall, little over that.
Damn. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I actually missed the first build. They did a first build for the event, and it didn't really work out just because of the conditions. And so we had to actually recreate it. So we remade it and built it on Griffith Park golf course. And that was an insane day because we were building for days on end, like no sleep. And we're trying to put this thing up, and the rigging wasn't the best, and it was really windy, and so I'm like up there holding these giant balloon walls, hoping that they're not going to blow over. And I wasn't a part of the original team, so I was kind of support for all the show, and I'm trying not to like be too obvious, but I'm like, guys, I need help. Like, somebody needs to like come and support this.
I'm
I don't wanna
building a
die.
20-foot
Don't wanna
castle
die.
out of
Yeah.
latex.
All right,
Help me.
Wait. Pause. Rob, you're on mute again. Did you hear what he just said? He said they tried to build it the first time and it didn't work. And so then he's the one out there doing all of the stuff, man. All right, unpause.
I won't take full credit for that, but I'll take most of the credit.
All right. Fair enough, man. Fair enough, bro.
There's 90%. We just gave it to you.
All right. So look, man. We want to certainly recognize all of the artistry and stuff that goes on. How have you seen? Before we move on to our next segment, like how have you seen balloon twisting change over the last few years? Because while you're thinking about the answer to that question, let me tell you my experience. All right. My experience was, like I said, I did balloons in middle school and high school, a little bit in college. I did some bars and restaurants and stuff like that. And then I got out of balloon twisting for about, 5-10 years. And then I came back to it when I decided to do that, the T. Myers, the balloon distributor. And when I did that, I came in it with the idea that I knew what balloon animals were. Like I can make balloon animals, I can do all this cool stuff, right? And when I got into it, the art form had changed so much. People were doing dresses, people were doing fire trucks, people were doing, even at birthday parties, people were making balloon dogs that had different colored eyes and were life size, and you could tell what species it was, and all kinds of stuff like that. So, since you started when you were 4 years old, to the point you are in your career now, where you're winning awards and stuff like that, like how have you seen the art form evolve and change?
So the internet definitely changed everything. The book that really changed me was Captain Visual's Big Book of Balloon Art, which was available in Barnes & Noble. And in the back of that, there was a bunch of resources, and T. Myers was one of them. And so that's where I started buying Qualtex balloons again, because they were affordable and professional balloon inflators.
Mm-hmm.
And then, early '90s or late '90s to 2000s, Balloon HQ was a giant resource, and that kind of brought anybody who was interested in balloons did a search and found that, and so that brought everybody together, and people were starting to see oh, you can do things with balloons that I hadn't thought of. Like, you can make a dog out of more than one balloon.
Right.
Or you can take, like, this type of balloon and turn it inside out and get a completely different shape. And so it was pretty much people playing around individually, but once everybody came together, people were like, oh, I can take this idea and kind of expand on it and create this new thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the speeding up of knowledge, just like it's happened with pretty much everything, right? Where you don't realize something's possible. Like back in the day, juggling, right? 5 balls used to be difficult. Now it's like, if you can't do it, you're not you shouldn't even show up,
Dude,
right?
yeah, that's a really good example. Because that's the same thing, right? A lot of people can juggle 3 balls, but and that used to be like, hey, look, that guy can juggle, and now it's like, yeah, if you can't juggle 5 balls in a crazy pattern, get off the stage. Like, you're not even at the beginning level, and
because you can immediately see that. And that it's possible on YouTube,
right.
You know, like you can go right to the internet and see all this shit is possible, and so then it just kind of like breaks that barrier of thinking, oh, when you read it in a book, you're like, I wonder if anyone can actually do this move,
right?
But
I'll tell you, one of the things that I discovered in my time in the balloon twisting world through T. Myers, like one of the things that I thought was amazing was that. Coming from the magic community, like, magic is so closed. You have to, like, the way that you get new secrets or be on, like, in the know is to really be in and know people. And it's that personal connection that really makes it possible. But everything is so closed and secretive, and you got to pay to play and all of this stuff. Balloon twisting is the complete and utter opposite. It's like everybody who does balloon twisting... I shouldn't say that. 99.95% of the people who do balloon twisting are so open about how they do things and how their new discoveries and how to push the art form forward just through them screwing around and playing with balloons that it's a really different atmosphere. Like when you go to a balloon jam, those people are out there, like, teaching. It's like, hey, man, I just learned this new thing. Let me teach you. And through that knowledge, the art form just has just blown up, man. Like I met a girl from the Netherlands. I forgot her name. Maybe, Rob, you know. But her entire business was doing balloon dresses. And what she does is she does wedding dresses out of balloons for people in the UK that want to do something fun and different. And she makes a professional wedding dress out of balloons, and then when the wedding is over, she takes that balloon dress and shrinks it down in proportion so that it's the exact same dress. It's just about 3 feet by 4 feet tall, and frames it in a shadow box and then gives it to the bride so that she has a forever reminder of her wedding dress. And I was like, damn, like, that's crazy. That's your job. That's crazy, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a very sharing community, maybe to a fault at some points, but yeah, people want to share what they know, and because we're still a very new industry. Are
there any balloon? Say you created the very first balloon frog, right? Do you have to give other people permission to use your balloon frog, or once you've created it, it's just fair game? Like in Magic, you create an original trick and you don't give anyone permission to use it, they're not allowed to use it ethically. But if you create something new, is it just out there or do you have to give, or is it too hard to control?
Sort of. Generally, if you create something and post a picture of it, people will be able to reverse engineer it, or most of the time, and they can use it in their work, and nobody really cares. If you're gonna like make a tutorial on it on how to like make this, then that's kind of not cool, because you're taking their idea and showing people how to do it.
Yeah.
And then also there's performing with balloons, which is a whole different animal because it involves performance. So it's basically just taking balloons and using them as a medium for performing. And I think a lot of people there don't know what to do with that because they're like, oh, well, everybody shares everything anyway, but...
oh, that's true. You get a group that shares everything, and then you have that group do something like performance where you shouldn't be sharing everything, or, and everyone is still on the thinking it's shareable.
Right.
Yeah. We actually, at this past balloon convention a couple weeks ago, there were a lot of Japanese delegates that came and competed in the stage competition, and a lot of their routines were kind of similar in style to, like, there was a thing that transformed into another thing at the end. And I asked one of the guys about his performance because I had seen him in Belgium perform and was blown away. And he said that he kind of came up with the idea of a transformation act, and that sort of became the style in Japan. And not like that he was bitter
cool.
or anything, but like that's just everyone just saw it, and then that became what everybody was doing.
Pete,
the new norm.
One of the things that I think it's interesting about balloon twisting as an art form is that, like, magic has been since one ape stole another ape's food and was like, mine, but I'm going to do it in a smooth way so you don't know that I stole it. Like, magic has been around since then. You know what I mean? Like since one person was like, hey, which hand is it in? Which is, like, Romans, ancient Chinese, Neanderthals, I don't know. Magic has been around for a long time. Balloon twisting has only been around for 60 years, maybe? And so people are still trying to figure out, when Rob was like, it's still a new art form, it's true, man. People are still trying to figure out what this looks like. Like,
a condom.
That's what it looks like. That's exactly right. But what I mean is what the
I
art
wonder if that's the
form
first idea for it. They made condoms a very practical, useful tool, and then someone made a little dog out of a Magnum condom and was like, "Wait a second. I can give this to my son or daughter."
Oh my God, that's gross. All right,
they can go play with it,
dude. Moving right along. Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining us and for being an awesome super fan.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Let's move on. Let's move on to our new segment.
You want to do the news?
Ooh.
Awesome intro that you did last time.
Oh yeah, sure. This week in the news.
Beautiful. So I found this on Mashable, and it is a woman it's a video of a woman doing yoga on a plane, a full plane in the middle aisle. And she's got her headphones on, and she's like in splits in the middle of the aisle, and she's on her knees. She's going backwards, doing camel position and all these things. She's got her yoga pants on, too. She's got stretchy pants on. I found this interesting. I found it ballsy. She's got huge balls. Just get in the middle of the plane and start doing vinyasas. So my question is... what do you guys think of this? Is this bad form? Is this weird? Is this awesome? She's just so confident in herself that she's can touch her head to the floor without bending her knees? Or is this rude to all the other passengers on the airplane?
So I saw this. I happened to get my oil changed today, and they were talking about this very video on whatever TV station that they had playing at the oil change place. And, dude, I have absolutely no problem with this chick doing this. Now, I get that it is awkward for everybody else. Like, I totally get that. And if I was in the row that was right next to where she's doing downward facing dog, there would be that weird moment where I'm like, I mean, I'm going to pretend like I'm not noticing that there's a chick doing downward-facing dog in yoga pants right next to my face. At the same time, look, airplanes suck no matter what. And so if you need to get in your zen space and you have the balls to just confidently go out and do yoga, good on you. Dude, so it reminded me, we'll get back to this, but it reminded me that probably 10 years ago, Brian Brushwood and I were traveling, and Brian was on a new workout program, and the workout program was real simple. It was every hour on the hour, you had to do 10 push-ups. Okay?
Huh.
So no matter where you were, every hour on the hour, you had to do 10 push-ups. And I remember we were driving to a gig, and he looked at his clock, and he's like, damn it, and he pulled the car over. So we were driving a car and a trailer, and he pulled the car over and got out of the car on the side of the highway and did his 10 push-ups on the side of the highway and got back in the car, and we drove on. And was it a little socially awkward because that's not what you normally do on the side of the highway? Sure. Was it healthy and fine and nobody got hurt? Yeah, nobody got hurt. It was fine. Everybody's going to keep moving. So, look, I've farted on an airplane and been more socially awkward on an airplane than somebody actually getting exercise. So, my vote is it's totally cool.
Yeah, what do you think, Rob?
I think, yeah, awkward, but I mean, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
When your sciatic's bothering you, just got to get into that downward dog.
That's right.
I think as long as the seatbelt fasten light is not on and you're not interrupting drink service or anything, yeah.
Yeah, like I said,
Why not?
it's everyone else that has the weird problem with it, but everyone else is, just as long as you're not hurting anybody and as long as you're not doing anything that's dangerous, and it actually, it's not like the flight attendants got up and were like, hey, like if the flight attendants were like, hey, I'm sorry, you're going to have to sit down, that's part of the rules. But she didn't break any rules. I think it's fine. It just might cause people to socially cringe. On that note, my sister-in-law, when she's on long international flights, she's like, look, I apologize, but I get up on international flights and I just walk. I do power walking up and down the aisle to just try to move my legs so that I don't just get all stiff in the thing. And it's a little awkward that she's just walking back and forth, and after about 10 minutes, I'm sure everyone kind of notices, like, hey, this chick just keeps walking through the aisle back and forth, doing her thing. It's not hurting anybody. It's fine.
Yeah, I side with you guys. I think it's okay. If I was sitting right next to where she was doing it, as long as she didn't like fall over onto me, like
right,
spill my drink or whatever.
Then it's not only awkward as in like it's happening and it's awkward, but now you're involved in that story, and that changes it a tiny bit. Because, like I said, the big thing for me is that it's not hurting anybody else, and that it's not like she's doing anything that's harmful. But yeah, if I was sitting on the aisle side and she was doing maneuvers where her foot was in my lap, yeah, now we got issue. Like I'm gonna have to say something, right?
I'd probably be the person that would judge her. I would if I was right next to her, I'd be like, not in the way you think though. I'd be like, she's in Warrior 2. I'd be like, yo, your right hand's dipping a little low in Warrior 2. Pick it up. Come on, make us proud.
Look, if you're gonna do it, I mean, do it right.
Yeah,
you need to concentrate on your breathing. Anyway, you know what? I think that deserves a small cheers. Cheers to you, yoga chick on a plane. Like, good for you.
prepare yourself for the dirty little football quiz. Guys, I've got a little axe to grind. I got a little football rant.
Do it.
All right, I'm sick of people saying the games are fixed for the Patriots. The Patriots has been on the commissioner's shit list for years now because they're so goddamn good, all right? There's no way refs and the NFL are in the Patriots' pocket, so shut up. I'm sick of the haters saying, oh, the Patriots cheat. Rob, let me ask you this, master of air and balloons. When you blow a balloon up inside and you bring it out into 20-degree weather, does it deflate a little?
Yeah. Air compressors.
You heard it.
In the cold.
You heard it. From the man himself, expert balloon man right here. So shut up, haters. I'm sick of the excuses, damn it. You know, if you can't beat the Patriots, just shut the fuck up, all right? Go out and beat them on the field. Stop it with the excuses, all right? If you beat them, you beat them. If not, I don't want to hear the excuses. Also, I'm sick of people saying football players make too much money, right? They just throw a football. They just hit people. Yeah, that's all they do. What does Justin Timberlake do? He just sings a little bit. You can sing in the frickin' shower and not get paid for it. They are entertainers. You know how many people they entertain on a weekly basis? Millions upon millions of people they entertain. And they are very good at their craft, and they should be paid to entertain these people. It's the best reality show ever. In a football game, you have struggle. You have so many you have conflicts of personality. On the field, you have dynamics and chess playing and maneuvering, and they are entertaining us, people that like to watch these emotions play out. So I'm sick of people saying all those things. Let's read some erotic fiction.
I gotta say, I agree with you. I have to agree with you that the haters are gonna hate, and they have been hating hard on the Patriots. And if you're gonna hate that hard, beat them. Beat them on the field. That's the number one way that you can end all of the he said, she said, and just beat them on the field. And if you can't do that, they end up in the Super Bowl every single year for the past 5 years. Sorry,
number one watched TV event ever.
Yeah, in the United States, absolutely. The other thing that I think is really important to say is no matter how much you want to hate on how much those people make, which is an obscene amount as far as most blue-collar, hardworking people are concerned, I got to say that there is no amount of money that would get me on a field and get hit by any of those football players for the entire game. I think for if you put like when kids do a readathon and they're like, hey, for every book that you read, I'll give you $10. For me, if you put for every hit that you take from a linebacker, I'll give you $10. I think I would make it to $20, and then after that, be completely out, and not just out. I mean, done with the sport of walking. I'd be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. So yeah, man, Pete, I think you deserve it. You clearly you've ridden this Patriots thing for certainly for all this year, and I know in years past. And dude, I'm sorry the haters are getting to you.
Yeah, it's all right. The thing is, I just take comfort in knowing that the Patriots win, right?
Right.
So, I'm just sick of I'm just sick of the excuses. Beat them on the field. I'll congratulate you. Say, good job. I'm glad your team won. But I'm just sick of it. Excuses, man.
Yeah.
Excuses.
Well, look, I'm a convert. I'm excited to root for them for the big game. And
the big game.
Yeah, and
Copyright infringement.
Hopefully
Super
we
game.
have some serious cheersing to do all Monday on Super Monday. All right, look, guys, we know that you don't come to Monday Club just to hear about Pete and his being butthurt about how people are not cheering on the Patriots like they should. So what we've decided to do is we decided that there is a similarity between erotic fiction and football. The same words that are used in football are the same words that are used in erotic fiction. What we're going to do is we're going to read 3 erotic fiction quotes to Pete that contain a football term. Pete's job is to identify the term, to define the football term, and then to replace the football term in the erotic sentence. If you can do that 2 out of 3 times, we are going to buy one of you Monday Clubbers out there a free drink. So, Pete, you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right, Rob, since you're here, man, you want to do the honors and read in a very sexy voice the erotic fiction quotes?
Sure thing.
All right, buddy. Let's see what you got.
I'm getting excited for this.
All right. Ebony savored the feelings of his obvious and growing package as she kept grinding on him at the office Christmas party.
Nicely read, Rob.
Well done. I'm going with package.
Package is correct.
Package is the term used for the type of personnel you have on. So the scheme you're playing. So if you're in a 4-3 defense, that's the 4-3 package, so to speak. Is that
is correct, man.
Close.
Good job. Yeah, the easy you said it, but the easy definition is the group of players that are on the field for a given play. I.e., like you said, like the nickel package is a substitution of the cornerback or a linebacker for the defensive lineman. But yeah, you say, hey, we want the nickel package to go out there, and that's the team or the group that goes out there. So yeah, man, totally good.
Ebony savored the feeling of his obvious and growing group of players on the field at the same time. She kept grinding on him in the office Christmas party.
That is perfectly done. Well done, man. All right, one down, two to go. All right, Rob, let's see what you got for this next one with Soul.
What is it about babysitters, librarians, and substitute teachers that turn gentlemen into cavemen?
Substitute.
Substitute is the correct answer.
Yeah, when they substitute players. So when a player goes out, they for a player or two or whatever, they are being substituted.
Man, you were on fire, dude. Yeah, a substitute is a change out of players on the field to be completed while the ball is dead.
What is it about babysitters, librarians, and a change out of players while the ball is dead teachers that turn gentlemen into cavemen?
Oh my God, this is the best. This is the smoothest you've ever done. It's like I can see that the big game is coming up, man. Wow,
it's
that's
the playoffs,
impressive.
man.
Yeah.
It's the playoffs. I got to bring my A
time,
game.
man.
I'm like the
serious.
Patriots. I always play best in the fourth quarter.
All right, to go for perfect, Rob. You ready?
Oh, man. All right. Take your pick, said the madam of the house. They are all skilled and will fulfill your fantasies.
Pick!
Pick is correct. 3 for 3 on fire.
Boom! A pick is when a defensive player intercepts the football.
Yeah, that's correct. An interception of a pass is a pick.
Take your interception of pass, said the madam of the house. They are all skilled and will fulfill your fantasies.
All right, man. Wow, Pete. Seriously, dude, that was the best I've ever seen you do this at this game. Rob, I blushed a little, man. You had a nice sultry voice there. Ladies and gentlemen, raise your glasses high. Pete Bois just was perfect on this round of the erotic football quiz. That means one of you out there is getting a free drink from Monday Club.
You're welcome. Send your thank you letters to mondayclubpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. Here's how you claim your free drink. All you have to do is be the first person on our Facebook page to enter in the phrase that pays, which is balloon, and finish off the erotic sentence with the phrase, I want a free drink. If you can use balloon and I want a free drink in your own erotic sentence, we will send you a free drink from us here at Monday Club. So, Pete, again, dude, congratulations. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Hey, it's time for Stories from the Road.
All right, so have you ever hated your past self?
Oh, yeah, all the time. My past self is a dick a lot.
Yeah. I hated my past self this past week. I was on the road traveling to South Carolina via ATL airport, and so I had a 5:30 flight out of Manchester. I hated my past self for booking this stupid crazy schedule when I didn't actually need to. Mm-hmm. I booked like a 5:30 flight out of Manchester into Atlanta. Then I had a 3-hour drive to my show in South Carolina. And then I had so I had the 7 o'clock show, 8, 9. I got back to my hotel around 10. And then I had I booked myself a 6 a.m. flight the next day to go back home. So I had to wake up at 1:50 a.m. to drive 3 hours back to Atlanta. Atlanta's one of those airports where you drop the car off and you have to take a train and you have to walk a bunch.
It's a
and you gotta do
train
this.
and then it's like a taxi service, and then you got to be on all the tram, like the moving walkways, and then they tell you it's at the other end and you have to take a plane to your plane to get to your gate. Yeah, it's awful.
And then you're stuck in TSA. Atlanta has the worst, slowest TSA I have ever been in my entire life. So you have to budget at least. And they don't have priority lanes for like A-list preferred first-class customers and everything. So you have to stay with all the lower-lings people in line. It's the worst airport in the world. So you need to be there
like 5 hours early?
Yeah, essentially 5 hours.
What you really need to do is just drive to the place you were going to fly to in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So I hated my past self for that. But so I land in Atlanta and I get to budget for my car, and I go up to the window, and I'm on the fast break, so I just give them my name. They usually give me my keys, and I'm gone. And they said, we have 2 cars for you to choose from, a Mustang and a Fiat, and they're both stick shift. Now, I haven't driven it. My first car was a stick shift, Ford Contour, and I haven't driven a stick shift since I was 20 years old, probably. And so here's the deal. It was noontime. It was 12:30, and so I had to drive 3 hours, and I had to be at the school for load-in at 3:30. And so I had 0 time to waste. She's like, you can wait for an automatic, and I'm like, God, no. So of course I took the Mustang.
Right.
And this was like a Mustang GT 5.0. When you turned it on, holy shit, it was like, it was like I had that super. You want me to do that again?
Yeah.
Had that super low, incredible rumble
yeah.
when you fire it up. So I had to drive a stick shift 3 hours to my show, and I stalled a few times. One of them was in a McDonald's drive-thru, but I did all right. And so I went, and I got there in time, did the show. I was doing Summoning Spirits,
nice.
My ghost show.
Yeah.
And this probably had the craziest reaction I've ever had to the ending of my show.
Really?
So I got another prayer in the front row. There was this girl
good, yeah.
during an intense spot with her fingers, folded in prayer, and her head was down and her eyes were closed, and she was praying during some of it. And I know the show's going well when I see that.
Yeah.
And then, so at the end, literally, I'm not even joking, half of the audience was screaming, and they got up, pretty much the whole audience was reacting and screaming, but half the audience got up and ran to the exits. Normally, that's a bad thing in a show, but when you're trying to scare people, it's a badge of honor when half the audience runs for the exits at the end of the show. So that made me feel pretty good, and it was a pretty badass show. And I just hate my past self for booking a 6 a.m. flight when I didn't need to.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, that when you have to set an alarm to wake up, and your alarm is set at any of the digits that are below a 7, it's awful. Like, it's just awful. And you find yourself doing that thing where you're doing math in your head. You're like, 1 o'clock, midnight, 11 o'clock. That's not enough o'clocks. I didn't. That's not nearly enough o'clocks.
That's not enough clocks.
Yeah. Anyway, man, I saw that you were in a manual car. I'll tell you, I started my zombie survival kit a long time ago. My first car was a manual transmission as well, so I learned how to drive on a stick shift. I got my motorcycle license for the sole purpose that I thought to myself, if I'm ever running from zombies and I'm in the desert and there's a perfectly good motorcycle that's just sitting by an oasis, if I can't drive that motorcycle and die because zombies are chasing me, like, screw 'em, that's my fault. Like, I should know how to drive a motorcycle. So motorcycle,
that's perfectly sound logic.
Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly.
With you.
I learned how to scuba dive for the same reason. I was like, I'm not going to be into scuba diving, but again, I'm on a plane or a submarine, and it's starting to sink, and there's a perfectly good set of scuba gear. I need to know how to scuba dive. And though I haven't done it yet, I also want to learn how to parachute, because if I'm on a plane and the plane's going down and some stewardess throws me a parachute, like, I'm getting off this plane, and I need to know how to do it. So anyway, I think it's real important that everybody learn how to do some basic survival skills out there so that you're worthy of being on the zombie survival team.
You got to get to the gig.
Got to get to the gig, man.
Yeah.
If you got to parachute out, that's how you do it.
Find where that clutch catches and put it into. Oh, I also on the way back because I was driving at the wee hours of the morning. I pulled over on the side of the highway and made sure no one was coming, and I fucking gunned it. I was like, I pretended I was on like a quarter mile. I floored it. I was shifting like crazy and just like going through all the gears. It was fast. It was sucking me back into the seat. It was so fast.
Man, there's nothing like having a manual transmission and doing some Fast and the Furious shit. That's pretty cool. Rob, what about you, man? A story from the road. You got one for us?
Yes, I do. I just came back from the Twist and Shout Balloon Convention that happens every year, and this year it was at Harrah's in Las Vegas.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah. Fun hotel. Great magic show there. And we had a friend of ours was having a birthday party at her house, which was about 20 minutes away. And so somehow I got tasked with trying to get all the international people to her place via Ubers and Lyfts and stuff. And so everyone there is on Wi-Fi when they're in America. And like about an hour or so before we were supposed to go, we lost power. Like the entire hotel casino lost power.
Wait, Harrah's lost power?
Harrah's lost power and the surrounding area.
What?
Which,
Wow.
I've never...
So all the gaming shut down, everything?
So we were on like the 23rd floor in this suite, and everything goes off. It flickers on, off again for a while, and this is right as the sun is setting, and everyone's trying to figure out what to do. And so there's emergency power going on, which powers the essential things like the hallway lights, the elevators, the slot machines. So,
wait, are you serious? Do the slot machines
Yes.
stay open?
So
That's hilarious.
eventually we take the elevator down to the first floor.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Screw that. I would not get on an elevator when the power was out. No, sir. Mm-mm.
It was.
I'm with Gus.
It was kind of scary.
Yeah.
But then forgot a couple things upstairs, and we had to go get another couple of people who didn't have access to any phones or anything, and they wouldn't let us back up. They kicked us out of the elevator passageway,
Right.
and so we're all in the lobby, and the power had surged again, and so everything goes off, and all the slot machines started rebooting, which I had never seen before.
Oh, my God. I bet that's creepy.
It was weird. But,
Now,
they
there's
have
a
their
scene-
priorities there.
Yeah, there's a scene in, was it like Ocean's 11 or something like that, where they show, the three most successful casino robberies of all time, and none of them make it out the front door, and but one of them is the power going off, and people just, trying to steal the slot machines and stuff like that. Were people acting cool, or were they freaking out?
At this point, they were cool. I didn't see what it was like initially. Tristan and our friend Crystal had actually gone down right as it was happening, and they're like, "It's a zombie apocalypse down here. Don't come down."
Oh my God, I can't imagine. That's I'm sure that's creepy. All right. So then
It was
what?
weird. So eventually the power kicked back on, and then we were able to get back up. Well, some of us, because while that was happening, somebody was going into labor on the 15th floor. So
What?
my friend tried to come down through that way, and they were got out of the elevator. They're like, "You need to go back." And then while we're waiting for the elevators to open back up, all of a sudden they open the doors and a ton of security comes in, and I'm like, "Oh shit." And then there's a lady on a stretcher who's really pregnant and about to give birth.
What?
Really almost not pregnant anymore.
Yeah. So it was very bizarre. But then we eventually collected everybody and were able to go to our party. But yeah, I've never seen Vegas lose power before. And
Yeah.
you'd think it would happen in the summer when everyone's trying to be cool, but not in January when it's...
Wow.
You know what I heard?
Yeah.
You know what I heard? I always watch the tech podcasts and stuff and YouTube channels. And what is it? CES this year. That's in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That lost power too this year. What
I
the
saw
hell?
that because
like
we were
consumer
also,
electronics show lost power.
Wow.
yeah, because I was trying to Google what was happening, and all I could find was like CES loses power.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so funny how we think we're so like technologically advanced and stuff like that, but we lose power for 1 hour and everything's screwed. Like people are eating other people and like it's bedlam. It's insane. Well, dude, I never have I ever been in Vegas when it lost power. So you're one up on me, Rob. That's pretty crazy. For me, here's my story from the road. I had a show in New Orleans this past week, and New Orleans is home to all of the best food. Like, there's some of the best restaurants in the entire world are in New Orleans. And we get there, and we fly in. We get there super early. We land at, like, 9 o'clock in the morning before we can check into our hotel. And so James and I get on Yelp, and we find a really cool... just a cafe, man. Like, it was run by these two sisters. They were retirees. They were in their mid to late 60s, and these chicks could cook some pancakes and make some orange juice, man. Like, it was so low tech and so homegrown, but just some of the best food that I've ever had. So that was really good. We go out and we do our event in New Orleans, and then we we get taken out by some of our friends that live there, and we're so excited because we're in New Orleans. I'm looking forward to some really good jambalaya or etouffee or any of the traditional New Orleans fare. And
What the hell's etouffee?
Delicious. It is super delicious. It's like rice, and there's usually some chicken and some sausage, and it's just comfort food, man. It's so good. Anyway, so looking forward to some really good food, and everything that is anywhere near where our hotel is completely closed and just not serving food at the time. And so we ended up for dinner in New Orleans, one of the cities with the best food in the world, having IHOP for dinner. And I was so...
You couldn't even find a Waffle House?
No, couldn't even
Come
do a
on.
Waffle House, man. And so the IHOP was only like 2 minutes away from our hotel. But while we were all having dinner at the IHOP, the people in the kitchen start having a fist fight and just yelling and screaming at each other, cussing each other out, and being like, well, I'm out of here, and like throwing stuff. And our waiter comes back up to us and is like, yeah, so that was exciting. Here's your check. So I got kind of a Waffle House experience at an IHOP. But anyway, like you were saying, Pete, your past self being a dick to yourself, I was pretty sad that we didn't get some really good New Orleans food for dinner while I was there.
That sucks. I saw on your Facebook, though, you did get a beignet.
Well, yeah, because I got to the airport at like 4:30 in the morning, and they had a cafe there that said now serving beignets, and I was like, hell yeah! At least I got a beignet, and I got one.
Nice.
And they put 1 shake of powdered sugar on there, which if
What?
you've been to New Orleans, like normally those things are covered, like Scarface covered in white powder. Is what a normal beignet is, and so everyone who saw that's from New Orleans was like giving me shit. They were like, "Well, that's like, what are you on a diet?"
I didn't want to give you shit because it did not look like a Café du Monde.
It was
beignet.
not a Café du Monde, but it did cost $12 for one fried rice at the airport.
Like, here's the half taste of New Orleans on my way out.
Right. Teachable moments.
All right, ladies and gents, my teachable moment this week is learn how to drive a stick shift. Going along with Gus, I should probably learn how to drive a motorcycle too while I'm at it, in case of the zombie apocalypse. But learn how to drive a stick shift. Because I would have been shit out of luck. I would have not made it to my show if I had not had that experience of knowing how to drive a stick shift. So you never know. Definitely make sure you know how to get around.
Hey, so
that's it.
So I learned how to drive on a stick shift, but I got to tell you this quick story, dude. So my first driving experience with a stick shift, my mom was in the passenger seat, and I'm a student driver. I'm just starting out learning how to drive. and I was trying to enter in onto the highway, but the entrance ramp on the highway is at a light and on a hill, which if you don't know how to drive a stick shift, being on a hill is terrifying because when you let
That's
off
the worst.
Yeah, when you let off the brake, you roll backwards if you don't know what you're doing. And so I'm sweating balls, and I'm at a weird angle, and I'm scared that I'm going to crash into the car behind me. Anyway, the light turns green, and I try to go, and I totally stall out, and the car, does the big jump and stall and then dies right there. And I'm still sweating, and I look over, and I kid you not, guys, a bikini team is in a tour bus right next to me, and all of them just see me just stall and eat it right at the light, and I can see an entire bikini team pointing and laughing at me.
A women's bikini team?
Huh?
A woman's bikini
Yeah,
team?
yeah, an all nice female bikini team pointing, and then my mom starts pointing and laughing at me, and that's just, that was a therapy bill right there.
That's great.
All right, Rob, what you got for us, man? This week's teachable moment.
All right. This one relates to this. It comes from our friend John Reed, and it is listening to podcasts and stuff on 1.5 times the speed of normalcy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
cool.
That's a good idea.
You can get
You can get
more
more
info in less time.
Yeah.
And it actually doesn't speed not Alvin and the Chipmunksy, but it actually speeds up everything without changing the tone.
I've started doing that with audiobooks too, because it like you said, it doesn't change how it sounds, but it helps you get through it a tiny bit faster.
That's cool. I did try that once, but I did. When you get a good narrator of the book, they have the dramatic pauses, and all the timing and stuff is. I don't know. I think it would work well for podcasts, but I personally didn't like it with books because it kind of took away a little bit of the ambiance for me.
Yeah, I know.
That is a good.
I can see
The only
that.
thing that really weirded me out was the music that I'm used to in the intros and everything.
It's
was
funny
way
because if you start it off, if you start something new at 1.5 speed, then it's not weird. It all sounds normal. So yeah, that's a great teachable moment. All right.
You ever meet your favorite podcaster in real life? You sound a lot slower.
Well, then I'll try to do this one even faster for Rob, so when he's listening to this, it sounds good in 1.5 speed. Here's my teachable moment, guys. My teachable moment is this. When you are having your parents-in-law over, like I did for this past week, or you were doing any kind of party where you have groups of people that are coming for your house for a dinner party, do not be afraid of setting up placemats or placeholders with people's name on it and assign people where they're going to sit. I know it sounds like you're going way above and beyond, or that you're putting up airs because you're putting placeholders for people to sit. Don't worry about it. It's kind of like a magic trick. Have people sit where you want them to sit, so not only do you get the chair that you're comfortable with, but you also have people that are going to do good conversations right next to each other, and you will be happy. So I did that with my parents-in-law this past weekend, and it was great. We set Bryce where he was contained between all of the parents and not necessarily kicking his grandparents underneath the table, and it was great. It made the dinner a lot of fun, and like I said, it's kind of like a magic trick. Control all of the variables as much as you can so that you have a really good, fun experience.
Then you can control who gets the whoopee cushion.
It's also true.
Well, that was episode 46. Thank you so much, Rob, for being our guest this week. It is
Thank you
great
for
to
having
finally
me.
put your face to your free drinks. I appreciate you buying the drinks you bought us.
Of course.
The Coolada drink is still one of my favorites of all time.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. Thanks,
Hey,
Rob.
where can we find out more about you, Rob? Are there any social media or websites you want to plug?
Yeah, robtheballoonguy.com. If you search for Rob the Balloon Guy anywhere, you'll find me. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
Well,
All right.
check out Rob's stuff. We will certainly post some of the photos of his artwork on this episode. Rob Balchunas, Rob the Balloon Guy, you were awesome, sir. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Have a fantastic rest of your Monday, everyone.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. Huge shout out to Mr. Rob Balchunas. You can find him again at Rob the Balloon Guy. Don't actually rob him, just that's his name. RobTheBalloonGuy.com. You can find us on our socials, MondayClubPodcast.com, Facebook.com/MondayClubPodcast, Twitter at MondayClubPod, Instagram at MondayClubPodcast. Email us at MondayClubPodcast@gmail.com. That is also where you can buy us a drink. Huge thank you to Mr. James Caldwell, our sound engineer, and of course, Mr. Zach Holder for our music. You guys go out there, be safe, have a great 4-day week, and we will see you next time on Monday Club.